Tremendous environment out there, as you can see. I mean, we're so thankful for our fans. Obviously, they showed up big, they showed up loud, and certainly gave us a ton of energy as we were playing there. But really proud of the win. We beat an excellent team, an extremely well-coached team that we respect, beyond measure, and we're excited. Right now, obviously, we're not complacent. We're not satisfied in any way, but certainly proud of the effort, tonight and ability to, fight through some situations. Both teams are struggling to score, but I think the defenses were both the reason that was happening, and I think both teams maybe missed some shots that they would like to have back, but all in all, I think both teams are really dialed in, in terms of defending at a high level in that first half. The baskets were hard to come by. It was a pretty slow game. And, coming out of halftime, they began to, get the momentum there, and we had 2 mishaps right away at the beginning of that second half, and we needed to make some adjustments or really just talk to the guys, and so we called a timeout and just had a conversation with the guys, a very calm conversation about not breaking down, and certainly we broke down early in that second half, and we had to stay with it offensively. We're hopeful that our shots would begin to go and we'd get some cleaner looks, and certainly that did happen for us. We were able to get to the free throw line enough, and then we were able to finish it, at the free throw line, in a positive way. But, excited for our guys, but, still a ton of respect for Coach Mooney and Richmond.
Coach, go ahead.
Go, guys.
Coach, you mentioned that the environment was great here tonight. Compared to other rivalry environments throughout your career, where does this rank in rivalry environments?
Yeah, I mean, it's right there at the top. Anytime you're this, I don't know, what is the mileage? 6? You're 6 miles apart from one another, and yeah, I mean, it's huge. I've never really been in one like that. I mean, I've experienced it through my father, but Wake was always the team that was, disconnected from Raleigh, Chapel Hill, and Durham, so he kind of had his own little nook over there that he could work. Didn't have to worry about all them. Until game day. Until game day when all the Carolina fans would show up at his gym. Yeah, I've been a part of some great ones. I mentioned it in here the other day. I played in some. Hampton City, Macon. Who won?
Macon by 2.
I love Merkel. I'm not going to respond. Okay. Next question. Utah State, San Diego State. Who won that one? They did?
Yeah.
Okay. That was one. I mean, that was a big game, every year. Virginia Tech, Virginia. There's a lot of them that I've been fortunate to be a part of. And, certainly this one ranks right up there with it. And, we're happy that we won, obviously.
Ryan, you guys missed your first 11 threes.
Yeah, we did. Thankfully, we didn't take 20. Right?
But you made 5 of your last 7. Were
Yeah.
they better looks? Was it just a matter of time? What are you telling the guys
Yeah.
on the bench?
I think some of those were solid looks. Some of those were rushed, right, in the first half. And so, the balance between, being aggressive, right? Like Joe's an aggressive player, right? And, he ended up having one, in the corner over there where he was wide open that he passed up, right? Well, that's the one he should shoot, right? But he did that because I had told him in a timeout, they're running at you hard, man. And so, use that shot fake. Let's get in there. Let's see if we can get to that next one, right? And maybe you kick it out, and then we do one more, and then, okay, now that one's wide open. And so I think the guys just generally did a better job of that in the second half. And we're confident in our shooters. We have good shooters. And so it's the balance that you play with, right? You want to have a really good balance from 2 and from 3 and not be one-dimensional. And I think certainly we found enough 2s tonight, which is really hard to do against Richmond. Quinn's back in there all the time, and it's not easy. they put you in some tough situations. They're really quick and they get their hands on balls and they close back out really fast. And so, you know, you have to just stay with it. And I thought our guys did a really nice job of not panicking and continuing to play, and not letting our offense, you know, dictate, or lack of offense in the first half, you know, dictate, you know, how we were going to defend, right? And, you know, that was certainly the message at halftime. Hey, we're up 2. We're right where we need to be. Like, we got to do it again. And didn't start the second half the way we wanted, like I mentioned, but all in all, you know, our guys, you know, just stayed with it and we're disciplined.
Ryan, I think Zeb slapped the floor on 3 separate occasions tonight. What can you
Did we
say
get
about? I think so, on
You
those
hope so?
possessions.
Okay.
What can you say about his emotional leadership? He's your only captain who's played in this rivalry before.
Yeah, I mean, he was determined, you know. I mean, we talked about, you know, it before the game because obviously you have Jason out there and, you know, he's played for both teams now. And that's a hard thing, you know, for both, I'm sure. And we talked about the game, you know, and you know, what it means and all that. And I asked the team before the game, I was like, do you feel anything different, you know, in here about this game right now? And they were all like, this is before the game. Oh yeah, they feel it, you know. So you see all the t-shirts out there, like we practice with all the t-shirts on the, you know, on the chairs. And you sense it, you know. I'm walking around out in the fan and people are like, hey, ready for tomorrow, you know. It's like, it is what it is. Coach Mooney's going through it too. And it just, it is a different game. But what I encourage them to do is like, you can't play differently, right? Because it's a bigger game, you can't play differently. You have to execute, all right, the game plan, and you have to have game plan discipline, because that ultimately is what wins the game for either team, right? Your ability to block out, you know, what is going on and how bad everyone wants either team to win. You have to focus on what, you know, the task at hand is. And I thought our guys did a nice job, you know, of that throughout the game. Even when we got out of sorts a little bit, they were able to get themselves back, you know, in the timeouts by talking to one another and continuing to push.
Coach,
Toby and Firm, I think combined for 1 or 2 points at Bonaventure.
Yeah.
They're 14 tonight. They were like 5 for 7.
Yeah.
What was the key to getting them going, and what is the key to?
Yeah, I mean, we're not really throwing it to them in the post, right, for them to score yet. It's not their time for that, you know, at this point. But, you know, what we do is we try to hit them on rolls, you know, and pick and roll. We try to get them behind the defense. That's easier said than done against Richmond because Quinn backs up. He's back there. He's not really letting them behind, and he's really crafty at knowing how to guard the guard, all right, plus, you know, being a nuisance for the big as well, where he doesn't have as much room there. I thought our guys did a nice job of tipping some balls and then, you know, just playing aggressive, you know, in and around the rim. Was back to making that little, you know, floater a couple of times, you know, that he's made, you know, over the course of this season so far, and he got off to a good start with that. But I thought both of them did a really nice job, you know, and our guards did a nice job of finding them, you know, because you have to be able to do that when the defense collapses.
Coach Johnson did make some adjustments with Sean being out. What'd you notice from the guys that stepped up?
Yeah, I mean, Bell's minutes were important, you know, for us, right? We didn't really go past that, but Bell's defense in the first half, his grit, his toughness, his minutes in the second half, you know, certainly when other guys got tired. You know, he and I had a conversation after that last game, and really the last 2 games. You know, with Davidson, he wasn't really himself, and then St. Bonaventure, kind of the same thing. And I said, you know, this is why you came here, right? You were afforded all of these minutes early in the season, right? You're good, and so how can you impact the team? You know how you impact the team, and the things that you have to do in order to impact the team on a given night. We know what it is. It's defense, all right? It's rebounding. It's using your length, right? It's your ball handling. You're driving the ball. You saw him get in there. Like, he's capable of doing that. And so I thought today was an excellent example of how we can be stronger, all right, than we were earlier in the season, you know, once Sean's back, even without Sean right now, if he continues to understand that, you know, he's a good player and we need him. Go ahead, you have one.
After the St. Bonaventure game, you did not sugarcoat your rebounding issues.
Yeah.
Richmond didn't have an offensive rebound for the first 28 minutes.
Yeah.
And 3 pleased, I presume.
Yeah, of
with how
course,
your team
definitely.
responded to being publicly
Yeah.
challenged.
Yeah, I mean, certainly that's, I don't think they minded it at all because they were able to see it on film, right? And if you're honest with yourself and you're truthful with yourself, there's nowhere to hide from that, right? Our effort, our discipline, I would say effort, because these guys gave a ton of effort in that St. Bonaventure game. They were dead at the end of the game. It was easy to see when you go back and look at it on film. You're just exhausted. But that's not a reason to give up offensive rebounds, right? Even when you're tired, right, it takes no skill, right? It takes determination, it takes a toughness. And that's where we were lacking in that moment. And I thought the guys did a nice job of answering tonight. But overall, some teams really value like offensive rebounding, and then some teams are different. And I'm not saying Richmond's not. It's just, it is what it is. Like every game, takes a life of its own. And certainly today our guys did a nice job there. And then in the second half, we took better care of the ball and we shared it better, which helped our offense get going, I think.
Coach, I want to ask you, you guys held Jordan Keenan just 3 of 9 shooting from the field today. How important was it to get the win?
Yeah, it's huge. I mean, it's huge. I mean, I think, it's certainly a focus of ours as we go into every game. There's a leading scorer in every team, and it doesn't, all teams aren't created equal. There's certain teams where it means more, and certainly he's a vital part, of their team, and has had a dynamite, start to halfway through the season in the A10. He's one of the best players we have in this league. And so if you allow him to, do what he's really good at, all right, you're going to be disappointed. And so we just tried to do our part, and I thought our guys stuck with the game plan, throughout. And you're not going to shut guys out. You're just not. You're not going to shut teams out. Really good players like that. But I thought our guys did a nice job of, containing / keeping some pressure on him, and then helping, all right, when we did have to overextend to him.
There was a moment, about 9 minutes to go, you were up 1, you were inbounding the ball in the backcourt. You went like this, and then Max came off,
Mhm.
took a hand off.
Yeah.
I think it was.
Are you trying to give away my plays?
Signs? But
I mean, where's Jim Harbaugh?
it worked.
Yeah.
Because he hit that wide, and that started his little personal business.
Yeah, we tried to open up the middle of the floor there
Okay.
at that point, for him. And they're so good at switching. And so the more times that you end up, going guard to guard or 1 through 4s, they're excellent at switching. So we tried to limit that and really try to have a 5-man as much as we could involved.
We can do 1 or 2 more.
Ryan,
Were you satisfied with the toughness today?
Yeah, I was pleased. Yeah, the guys, I think toughness is measured in a lot of different ways, right? It's, it's just the physical toughness, right? The ability to take hits, to give hits and do it in a legal way. And then it's also the mental toughness that you have to fight through games. This team is showing that it has it. Are we perfect? No. All right, but we've been able to do it on occasion on the road, in the A10. We're getting better, at it. And, sometimes with younger teams, you can get a little bit out of sorts. And so we're trying to do our best to coach our guys of, being present and staying in the moment and all the things that you have to do, in order to be your best and help your team. And, tonight certainly was a great step in the right direction for us.
Were there moments at Utah State where Max would go on kind of?
Yeah, no
binges
doubt.
like that?
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, he had his moments. I mean, and he also had some great teammates out there too. That had the same opportunity and did as well. But he understands it's not all about him. But he understands too. Now he's more of a veteran, and we need him to make big plays. And I thought he made some huge ones when the game was kind of hanging in the balance. We weren't sure which way it was going to go. His shots were huge.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks.
Coach.
Thank you, guys.